Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second broadcast of the night. We just wrapped up with the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 46, and now we have returned with World Team League Code A 2024 Summer Day number 6. Oh boy, we're wrapping up with Code A here. We only have a couple matches left ahead of us, and we will kick things off with two matches here tonight. We have Berserker eSports versus Twisted Fairy, followed by Offside versus Hyperberg. Oh boy. We have 4 teams and only 3 spots to make it into Code S. It all comes down to this. We've been cutting the fat here. We've been bleeding out a lot of teams. We had a big upset last night. Club NV was eliminated from Code A because Creator, or a big reason for it, was Creator was not there. Creator, he was not there. He was not a part of the lineup. Without Creator, Club NV struggled, and they did fall before the hands of Hyperberg. Big results coming in. And now we're down to 4 players. Sorry, now we're down to 4 teams. 4 teams do remain. And who will make it into Code S? We're here to find out. Whew. Oh boy. Also, a big shout out to Jadolf. Jadolf also gave us a raid. I didn't quite give you a shout out earlier, so thank you so much for the support. We always do appreciate it as we are getting ready for our first matchup. I believe to be Berserker versus Twisted Fairy. Yep, you can see there, first up is going to be Berserker eSports versus Twisted Fairy, followed by Offside versus Hyperberg. The first series is to determine the seed, to see who makes it into the grand finals. The second series is a qualifying match to see who makes it into Code S. We save the best for last. Oh boy. Let's go. And we do have our lineups as well. From the top, we have DNS versus Shameless in a PvP, followed by BattleB versus FightingFrog in a Terran versus Protoss, and we end it all with DIMAGA versus Classic in a Zerg versus Protoss. I have not seen DIMAGA in a couple of months. I've been missing DIMAGA. I've been missing him. Great to see him here competing once again after a bit of a hiatus. Big fan of DIMAGA. He also has a good history in WTL, causing some upsets. So this is going to be an interesting one. As here we go, we have our first matchup. A PvP between DNS and Shameless. Game 1 on Amphion. Man, you thought you had enough PvPs earlier in Sparkling Tuna Cup? Nah. We got plenty more. We got plenty more to come. All the PvPs back. All of the Protoss versus Protoss. Ooh, as we're getting into game number 1 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Amphion for Berserker eSports, it is DNS, and in the top left we have Shameless for Twisted Fairy. Whew. Here we go. Now again, these matches are a couple minutes old. For those that are unaware, while we were casting the finals of Sparkling Tuna Cup, WTL started. WTL Code A did begin during the finals of Sparkling Tuna Cup, so we're behind like half an hour. I will do my best to catch up, so in between games and in between series, I will be speeding through the breaks, and I will try to catch up with what is currently occurring live, as we have like half an hour to catch up on. I say half an hour, 40 minutes to catch up on. Just for some transparency, just so you know. Whew. Will do my best. For now though, we are going to be settling into our PvP between DNS and Shameless. As a reminder, Shameless also competed in our tournament, but he was knocked out of Sparkling Tuna Cup by the time he played out this series. And Shameless did manage to bring, I believe it was Art to the... No, not Art. Sorry, my apologies. Shameless was able to bring Cristiano to the ace match in that PvP, so showcasing that he has some killer PvP. How does it compare to DNS, though? How does it compare? As we are settling in. Again, for now, it is going to be our gate expand set up here by Shameless. Interesting. Greedy economic opener out of Shameless going for the gate expand. Meanwhile, DNS going for a 2-gate opener, so a standard, more aggressive opener out of DNS. We'll see if he can punish the greed of Shameless. For now, we can see DNS being as annoying as possible. We're going to be trying to delay that expansion for as long as he can. He will attempt to delay. And that does force out a Zealot. That may even force out a Stargate out of Shameless. And there it is. Stargate is thrown down before expansion. With that Stargate, Shameless can get into some Oracle Harass and get into a safety Void Ray if he thinks it's being all-in. But ideally, he still wants to expand. And, oh boy, we force out that Zealot. And DNS is still being so annoying here, delaying that expansion, throwing down another Pylon. gets a second pylon here on the low ground. Will delay even further. Has Shameless, he just wants to expand. Just wants to take his natural. Meanwhile, we can see DNS going for his own Stargate as a response. Interesting. I believe DNS also scouted the Stargate. Yeah, he is fully aware of the Stargate of his opponent, which means DNS, he could go for a Phoenix. As we go for the Cyber block as well. My god, DNS delaying this expansion for so long. The Cyber Core has arrived, is well underway just to delay that expansion even further. The wall is open. Stalkers, they have arrived. DNS just adding so much pressure here. The Cyber Core still underway. Does he let it finish? No shot. Should be looking to cancel. Should be looking to cancel as he drags the attention of the army away out into the open. Oracle has arrived. We allow it to finish. Okay, Cyber Core does complete. And that means that Shameless is still on one base. Meanwhile, DNS expands. Somehow, someway, DNS has the economic lead with that expansion. And the pressure is on Shameless to counterattack. But he runs into Stalkers. Oh, he runs into a pair of Stalkers. Takes a lot of hits on the Oracle. Is forced back. Second Oracle's on the way. Second Oracle is on the way as we do slip into that main base. We do see DNS with his own Oracle getting 3 probe kills. Very nicely done. DNS does get some counter damage. Shameless forced to go into a Phoenix. Forced into Phoenixes. His own Oracle still have yet to get any damage at all. And it does feel like DNS is in the driver's seat. DNS is in control of this game so far. Does have a nice lead for himself. And does have a nice lead. Still has yet to pull the trigger, Shameless, I mean, with his own Oracles. I mean, we are in position. We have 2 Stalkers in the main. We have 2 Stalkers at the natural. We have a Phoenix in between. No shield battery at that natural waste. We finally get some probes. Finally get some damage done. As 3 probes do go down, the Oracles are forced back. And the Phoenix is on the hunt. We are hunting down those Oracles. As it looks like they will clash, they will come across each other. There it is. The Phoenix should be able to hunt at least one of them down. We force a recall, and the Oracle up. It escapes. Oh my god. The Oracle does make it back just in time. Does survive. And from here, as the dust settles, DNS still maintains his worker lead. He's up 4 probes compared to his opponent. 3 to 4 probes. Does have the worker lead. Both players are working towards Blink. Stasis trap here into the mineral line. Oh, is gonna connect with a handful of probes. And Stalkers as well. Not bad. DNS making the most out of his units. And again, DNS proving to be a good pickup here for Berserker eSports. I didn't get to mention it, but DNS for a very long time was on Platinum Heroes. He was on the Platinum Heroes for a very long time. Was the ace player for his team, or one of the key players for his team for quite some time as well, but has since joined the ranks of Berserker. And so far looking good, but he does get caught by another Stasis. Does get caught out, is being forced back as well. Ooh, bleeding out some Stalkers. Good target firing out of Shameless. Very nicely done. Does get 2, may get another. As you can see him camping these Stalkers. Getting another Stalker here. Big catches by Shameless. Does take a Stalker lead. Going for another. DNS, meanwhile, he backs off. He bled out a little Stalker, so he's expanding, taking a 3rd base. Working on a longer, later game. Here we go. We're in for a long one. We're ready. Strap ourselves in, Bobby. Let's go. Are going to be ready for this. We can see Shameless once again pushing in. Meanwhile, DNS does have at least the power of the shield battery to help support him. DNS is going to be able to hold on. Shameless is forced the hell out of here. And quickly taking stock here of the game stage, we have 3 base versus 3 base. We have comparable worker counts now between both players. When it comes to the army compositions, we have Blink Stalker, charges on the way for Shameless, working towards +1, working towards a heavy gateway composition. I believe DNS hasn't really invested into any further tech himself. Yeah, there we go. Now just starting up his own +1 in charge. So great minds think alike, and both players are headed towards the same direction. But it does feel like Shameless is slightly one step ahead. Does have a slight lead when it comes to his upgrades. Has a slight lead when it comes to his own immortal production as well. So despite the chaotic nature of the beginning of the game, despite the economic lead that DNS once had, not there anymore. There's only slightly there. So the game is calming down, and Shameless, he's holding his own. He is holding his own. As we're just going to be slowly settling into this, we can see DNS pushing out. Can he deny the 4th base? He's going for it. Going for the 4th. Shameless out of position. Not where he needs to be. The 4th base is going to be targeted down. And we should force a cancel. Good pick off there by DNS. Again, Shameless, he had an army to defend, but he was at his 3rd, not at his 4th base. Not where he needed to be. So very nice pick off by DNS. He does have a big lead with his 4th. Does have a big lead there. As Shameless is moving out. Remember, Shameless does have the advantage when it comes to immortal production. And the immortals, they add quite a bit here in these Stalker trades. In these Stalker battles. Once they get within range. Once they do get within range, as they shave off a couple more Stalkers here towards the north. Forcing back DNS. DNS, you can see him dragging the army all the way back home, giving himself time to respond, time to prepare back at home. As Shameless goes for a drop into the main. It does force a recall. Only gets 2 Stalkers. Good recall there out of DNS. As he recalls back home, he does save his workers, pulls back the probes, chases down the prism. And DNS, he surprisingly cleans this up without losing too many workers at all. But can he survive the counterattack? He should be aware that the army's coming. War prism is chased down. Does bleed out 2 probes. Considering the big warp in, only losing 2 workers, that's impressive. It's quite impressive there. By Shameless. Oh, sorry, by DNS. Shameless finding a way in, but alas, he's going to be forced back. Dark Shrine on the way for DNS. Let's go. DT's on the horizon. Dark Templar are on the horizon here. As DNS is going for his own counter drop into the main. The main armies, they're bouncing off each other, and we're just building up and looking to max out. This could end up heading towards Disruptor Wars, or Disruptor Production. Could head in that direction. No one has tech there yet, but the option is there. Especially with this good of an economy. DNS waiting to pull the trigger. He has the War Prism ready to go. And there it is. We have the Prism into the main. Probes are going to be going down, going for a big warping as well. And you can see the main army of DNS postured. He does catch some Stalkers. Very nicely done. The trap was set. Shameless forced to recall into his own main base. Or into his own natural. And the main army goes for the 4th. We have the position. We have our own immortals this time. Shield whatever goes down. Overcharges. Not going to be a part of this. And we zone Shameless away. We have the high ground. We have the better concave. DNS out positioning Shameless. And he gets 17 probe kills. As else they're still wreaking havoc in the main base. We have control of the 4th. The 4th should go down. We don't care about it. We go for the kill. Went for the kill instead. taking down more Stalkers, more Zealots. Speaking of Zealots in the main base are finally being cleaned up, but GG gets called. It becomes too much, and DNS snowballs out of control, taking game number 1. GG. GG, very well played there, very well executed by DNS, able to come in swinging here, and yeah, honestly, he was looking quite dominant throughout most of this. Like, he was able to take an economic lead early on, was able to keep up with his opponent. Shameless had his own moments himself, but in general, DNS was able to kind of force Shameless to play to the beat of his own drum. Like when it came to dragging the army out of position, recalling back home, in general, sniping the fourth base the first time, of course, sniping it the second time as well. Just really good movement, really good map awareness and map positioning from DNS. GG. GG, well played. Very well done there. As we're getting ready for game number 2, and game number 2 is going to be on... Interesting. Game number 2 is going to be on Oceanborn. As a reminder, the way this format works is that it is loser's pick. So it is going to be Shameless's map of choice. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have DNS for Berserker. And in the bottom right, we have Shameless for Twisted Fairy. Here we go. Our PvP does continue. As a reminder, this is a best of 2. Not a best of 3 or a best of 5. It is a best of 2, and there's a little bit less kind of pressure on this series as well, just because both Berserker and Twisted Fairy, they've already qualified for Code S. They've already made it in. This is just for additional prize money for better seeding as well, better placements. There is still something on the line, but for the most part, like, the pressure of even qualifying for Code S is off their shoulders. They're feeling pretty good. Like, win or lose, like, they're feeling pretty happy. Be content overall. As we are settling in to said PvP, is going to be double gas openers. Double gas into 2 gates here from both DNS and Shameless. Winding it back, remember, Shameless did go for a gate expand in game number 1, and he was punished so hard, right? Like, I glossed over it in the summary, but DNS, he was able to delay the expansion for so long. He got, what, like 3 pylons down. He finished his cyber core. He got his stalkers across the map. He was able to chip away at the oracle. The oracles didn't do any damage. It was crazy how much DNS delayed his opponent. And Shameless, he's had enough. He's had enough being on the receiving end. We're going for a proxy. Okay. Are we feeling a proxy robo? Cybercore is still not done. We're waiting for it to finish. Pylon has finished up, and Shameless is going to be committing with something. This wouldn't be a bad position for a Stargate, for a Proxy Oracle, but there it is. It's a robo from both. Oh my god, let's go! We're clowning it up, Papi. Proxy robo from DNS, Proxy robo from Shameless. We are going all in. All in versus all in. How does this turn out? Who do we favor as DNS scouts? Big scout here from DNS. He does confirm the proxy. He's aware of the all-in. And now he has the option to try to shut down the proxy of his opponent and continue with his own all-in as well. Oh boy. DNS, has he added extra information? Shameless has not seen anything. He's just now going towards the main base. His scout, oh, bit of a misclick from DNS. But the probe is going to get shut down. And Shameless does not know that there's a proxy. Shameless is in the dark. DNS is not. Robos are finishing. Immortal's on the way for both players. Immortal is on the way. And you can see the Stalkers immediately. They do head towards that pylon. Shameless going to be able to fight for it. Going to try and preserve it with his own units. Does try to bounce back. Meanwhile, we do send out a second probe. Sorry, another probe. That's going to be to throw down another pylon if need be to keep everything powered. The Immortal has arrived. DNS lying in wait, hoping to catch out a free unit. Doesn't quite catch the Immortal like he would have wanted to. Not quite. We can see Shameless rallying back home. And DNS, do we go for the main base of Shameless or do we go for the proxy? What do we go for? War Prism's on the way. You can see DNS pulling back. A little bit tentative. Prism has arrived for both players. And again, that robo is still vulnerable. He can still go for it. could. Back at home, that's going to be a third gateway. We have sentries, we have force fields. Shameless, he's ready back at home. Again, still just a really tense moment as DNS is going for a Stargate. Okay. Interesting. We're staying on one base. We're going for the Stargate. Observers on the way for Shameless. Can help, can give him a lot of vision, a lot of scouting. Robo is going to be finally spotted here. Shameless now aware of the proxy Robo of DNS. Observer does come out in time. We shut down the Robo, we do depower it, we do focus it down, but the Observer did pop. That is going to give a lot of scouting information here to to Shameless. And he does scout the Stargate. Fully aware of what's coming his way. Scouts the third gateway. Does scout the Stargate. It's going to be Phoenixes here from DNS. Shameless responds with a Twilight Council. I imagine for Blink. And it is scouted. It is spotted, but it's a late Twilight Council. DNS, he spots the main army. Further back in the main, we could try to pick away at the gateway. Again, still a very tense moment between these players. Very tense. One base versus one base. We do catch. Oh, we do not catch a Stalker. And then they shade in. No shot. They do shade in. Probes are going down. And when we're on one base like this, we can't afford to lose these workers. We lose 6 probes in the main. And Adept does make it out alive. The pick offs there by DNS. At the same time, chipping away at that gateway. I believe the Phoenix has arrived. Adepts once again shading into the main. They do cancel. We kill that. We do get a kill on that gateway. Shameless down to 2 gates, I believe. Yeah, down to 2 gates. Blink is on the way. Halfway done. 3rd gateway's in the production. And DNS, he still has the option to expand if he wants to. Could try to expand. Fighting for his natural. We'll get on top of that Adept. It does focus it down. Do we expand? DNS, he has the money for it. He's about to. There it is, 400 minerals, and we do throw down the Nexus. DNS, he's expanding, he's taking a natural. Suddenly, DNS is not all in. Shameless still is. I say that we went from proxies and one base all-ins into a standard game. It looks like, likewise, Shameless is also looking to expand. We're almost there. Never mind. Shameless, instead of expanding, he had the money for it. He warps in. He warps in 2 more Stalkers. He's committed. Did make a choice here not to expand. Let's move out. At the same time, Adepts making their way into the main. Probes are going to be falling. And probes are going down. At the same time, we do head in towards that natural. Shield battery's not ready. But a good pickup here. We lock down one of those Immortals. And it should fall. God, it's so beefy, though. The force fields were good, locking down a lot of that army. But we shut down one Immortal. We go for another. And Shameless, he gets completely deflected. Meanwhile, across the map, 11 probes go down. And Shameless, he's down to 13 workers. And remember, he chose not to throw down the Nexus as well. He's all in. And his economy is crippled. He barely has an economy to speak of. And he's just running out of steam. He's running out of army. GG gets called. And DNS will kick things off with a 2-0 lead for himself and for his team. GG, well played. Whew, a solid result there out of DNS, in control of both Game 1 and Game 2, showcasing why he was the ace player for the Platinum Heroes and why he may even be the ace player for Berserker eSports as well. Big wins here. Very well done. Very well done by DNS. Does take it 2-0. My condolences to Shameless, as it does take a loss. And now we're getting ready for our second set of the night. BattleB versus FightingFrog. Oh boy. Again, BattleB, he did so well for himself last night or 2 days ago in the previous round of WTL. We'll see if he can replicate that. We'll see if BattleB can be another player to rely upon. He's looking pretty damn good. He's been looking very good as of late. Has been looking solid. And we'll see, as game 1 is going to be on Post Youth. A very interesting map here to kick things off on. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the German Terran for Berserker, BattleB. And in the top right, we have his opponent, the Swedish Protoss, FightingFrog for Twisted Fairy. Here we go. And what exactly am I thinking of? It was BattleB against who? It was BattleB against Mondo, that's it. Where BattleB was able to bring him down. Likewise against Nanu as well. So BattleB has been looking solid. Has been looking quite solid here so far in WTL. And we'll see if he can continue his reign here of dominance or continue his streak. Or if FightingFrog can bounce back. Is this the first appearance of FightingFrog in this season's WTL? Let me just double check. Yeah, FightingFrog, he did not play in round 1 or round 2. Yeah, didn't play at all. That's why I'm a little bit surprised. And I guess, like, looking at the lineup, it makes sense. We don't have our killer lineup. We're missing stats. We're missing stats and we're missing nice. So Twisted Fairy, they're not fielding their A team. They're giving a lot of exposure to some of their other lesser known players like Shameless and FightingFrog. I do think it's good to give them experience. I do think it's a good kind of setting for them, considering that there's a little bit less on the line right now. So I do appreciate that. As we're getting into Post Youth, and again, Post Youth is going to be quite a large map in the map pool. Has a hybrid gold base in the main, so you can be very secure in 2 bases. Likewise, a 3rd base can be very secure as well. We have the potential gold that you can rush into as a 3rd or as a 4th. We'll see if either player is bold enough to do so. I feel like if it's going to be anyone, it's going to be FightingFrog. We shall see. As for now, it is going to be a double gas opener from BattleB, going for a rack center factory, a delayed command center from our Terran player. Odd choice, I'll be honest. Considering how safe it is to expand and be greedy, I'm a little bit surprised that BattleB did not go racks expand. Instead, he went for a much more aggressive opener, so yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by that. So it does mean that BattleB is going to be a little bit less efficient or less economic. And he's going into not Reaper Hellion, but he's going into Cyclone production. Interesting. A very safe way to play. With this Cyclone, we're safe against proxies, we're safe against Stargate openers, Oracles, Phoenixes, any earlier aggression. It's a really secure setup here from BattleB. Getting into his starport. Meanwhile, we have our tech of choice. It's not going to be a Stargate from FightingFrog, it's going to be a Twilight Council. Okay. We do have that Twilight Council from FightingFrog. Should be for Blink Stalkers. Reaper gets shut down, but the Reaper does scout the tech, so a big moment there for BattleB. Does confirm the tech. He's fully aware of Blink. The question becomes, how many gateways, how aggressive or how economic is this Blink opener going to be? Could be 2-gate Blink, 3-gate Blink, or 4-gate Blink Stalkers. Each one is, well, you have some that are more economic than others, some that are more aggressive than others. Instead, as this Cyclone is on a bit of a trip, we do waddle across the map, pulling back. Oh, and we spoke about the double gas opener here from BattleB. We spoke about the delayed command center, and what was it all for? It was for a safety Cyclone first into Cloak Banshees and early tank production. Okay, so really early tank production, Banshees are on the way. This could be for a 2-base all-in. We have seen Banshee tank-based 2-base all-ins quite a bit in the past. We've seen it from Nickrat, we've seen it from Honmono. Can be a very powerful build. So we'll see if we do pull the boys and how aggressive we are with this. Or if we just move out to, you know, apply pressure and deny the 3rd. Stalkers have arrived. We can see that there was no gateway explosion. It looks like 2-gate Blink into a 3rd base, so very economic build here out of FightingFrog. Speaking of the third, FightingFrog has the resources for it, and he will soon be throwing down that Nexus. Once we get that 400 minerals. We're now getting our pylons, no additional warp ins. Oh, I spoke too soon. The prism has arrived. There we go. There's that Nexus. Was it 2 gates or 3 gates? I'm feeling potentially 3 for now. Yeah, still pushing. We're just containing. Really, that's the goal here for FightingFrog. We're going to be a little bit more assertive, though. Pushing in towards the depot. Bold move, but he does get the depot. Good pick off. Gets it for free. Oh, the Banshee reveals itself as well. Uh-oh. And it was 3-gate Blink. Okay. Yeah. Like, because we were being assertive, it did look like 3-gate Blink Stalkers. This is kind of a middle ground build for FightingFrog. It's a way to still take a third base and expand, but also have enough gateways to be assertive, to warp it across the map, and to even threaten the bases a little bit. We can see that FightingFrog has delayed warp-ins. He did skip warp-ins intentionally, and now he's able to... Because he skipped warp-ins, he's taking up into a Forge, Temple Archives, Bay, Charge, 4 more gates as well. That's a pretty busy production tab for FightingFrog. Very busy, and he's getting into all of that. Meanwhile, the Banshees have been revealed, and they have not done any damage. Also, we can see the BattleB, he is getting a 3rd CC, so it's not a 2-base all-in. He's not pushing together with the Banshees. He's actually staying at home and only harassing with the Banshees. Has a solid tank count. Is now taking his 3rd base, and he should be quite secure in doing so. Banshees, they rotate over towards that 3rd. We're going to get a couple of probe kills. 2, 3 probes going to be going down. Good pickoffs. 2 rotate in towards the main. There is detection, but we're getting more probe kills. Initially, this was deflected, but now we get 6 probes for 2 Banshees. I mean, the Banshees are still alive. Bear that in mind. So, very nicely done here by BattleB. Oh, he does take a couple of extra hits. Does need to be careful. He has to just wedge himself in between the bases. He is stuck here for the near future. Oh, as he tries to go back in. Oh, but he takes a lot of hits. These Banshees getting lower and lower. That'll be a little bit too greedy there. A little bit too ambitious. Behind this, we're building up our tank and bio army. Storm is on the way, so we're not going for Colossi yet or Disruptor. Oh, no, the Bay is done. My apologies. We're just going for everything. We have Storm and Extendable Lands being resourced at the same time. Again, talking earlier about how greedy FightingFrog was, and yeah, he's just taking up quite heavily here. 2nd Forge for double upgrades. We have been warping in at least a little bit. We haven't been neglecting our our warp-ins completely, thankfully. We have some High Templar gathering energy. We have some Zealots. First Colossus is on the way. 4th base is being taken. And again, because of how large this map is, it's just so difficult to really be too assertive without just doubling down. And FightingFrog is feeling pretty safe. Is feeling pretty safe here as Banshees, they do hit that natural. We do get 2 probe kills. Do manage to get 2 more workers. We're pulling back. That'll be still just trying to posture out on the map. Still just building up. Gets eyes on the 4th base, and yeah, overall it's been pretty passive here. I mean, sure, BattleB's been harassing with Banshees, but that's really been it. Hasn't done much more than that, and that's a lot of High Temple. That's a lot of Storm. Jesus. What is that? 5, 6 High Templar. That's a lot of Storm we're working with. FightingFrog is pushing out. He can threaten even whatever he wants. The Bio Army, the Mineral Lines. Zell drop into the main is denied. Good positioning out of BattleB. Does earn their way. Soaks are coming in. At the same time, Banshees, they do hit that cannon. Ooh. Good defense here by FightingFrog. The cannon shuts him down. An overstep from BattleB. Can we get a ghost? He wants one. He does. Does snipe a ghost. Good pick off. Shows EMP. Oh my god, juicy EMP on the High Templar. Very nicely done, but we still have storms available. It was a good start. You see the storm leading the charge. Oh, going for the feedback. See BattleB getting feedback once again. He has one more ghost in the back line. Good splits out of BattleB, avoids most of the storm. Is pushing forward. FightingFrog, he backs off. Doesn't like what he sees. Is forced to retreat. Is forced to retreat, is forced to turn back. We do get eyes on FightingFrog. This time a big storm on the ghosts. Not bad. Big tank shot's going to be going off as well on the main army. We try to poke in, but we are zoned away. Again, the tank positioning is a little bit too strong alongside the SimCity, alongside the bunkers. FightingFrog will retreat. He had 6 High Templar, he's down to 4. And I think it looks like he has 2 storms available. Just the 2. Ooh, big, oh my, the juiciest EMP on specifically the High Templar. Very nicely done. There is now a 5th High Templar that has joined the fray, which does have, it is full of energy. Bear that in mind. So we do have a storm. We have 2. Once again, EMP does connect. BattleB, just very nice unit control overall. It's not like he's been like blanketing EMPs as well. He's been very precise with them, very intentional. And every time it lands its mark. Here we go. Looks like we had a reinforcing wave of High Templar. We're up to, I think, I want to say 9 High Templar. Fleet Beacon's on the way. Stargate, we're going for Skytos. Army's going to be engaging. Storm zones BattleB away, but we have a secondary force as well. We go for the EMP. 1 second too late. We do recall. Oh, big storms on the army. Did recall just in time. And BattleB, he bleeds out a little bit too much. BattleB has to rebuild, he has to recover. Now what's scary here is that Skytos is on the horizon. 4 Stargates on the way. 5 in total. Second Cybercore for 1-1 air upgrades. Jesus, FightingFrog embracing that Skytos quite heavily there. Bit of a misclick, but he does get one of those medevacs. This one gets 2. Both medevacs go down. FightingFrog thinking about pushing in. Oh! No, once again, another massive EMP. Jesus. Big EMP here on the High Templar. 0 storms are left. We can chase this. The Colossi are low. But not enough Vikings. Not enough in the air. Yeah, the Colossi stand strong. For now. Looks like they do stand strong. Well, BattleB rotating around. Does come across the 5th. EMP does graze the army. Lands on the Archon, takes down a Colossus. And towards the top left, can we get a kill on the Nexus? Looks like we cannot. Yeah, we have plenty to defend. We focus down the medevacs. This is an expensive loss here for BattleB. Those are some ghosts. Do end up throwing away some of those ghosts. Oh, bit of mispathing from FightingFrog. Throws away an Archon, throws away a High Templar. And what's scary right now is that throughout all of this, as we've been trading with the army, as we've had more of a back and forth, FightingFrog, he's got Skytos. Carriers, they have arrived, and I believe it has been unscouted so far. Yo, these ghosts are popping off. Oh my god, 2 ghosts! 13 probe kills. Worth. Ghosts are being cleaned up, but they did well. They did well for themselves. Cast is live. Games are 30 minutes old. There we go. If you're curious, the cast is live. The games are 30 minutes old. 30 minutes old. Because we were busy covering another tournament. So we're a little bit late. But here we go. We do dive on the army. Storm once again does zone BattleB away. Does zone him back. Liberation zones being thrown down. Carriers, they have arrived. That's a lot of Vikings, though. Jesus. Again, BattleB has been able to get into a very hefty Viking count. Meanwhile, he gets across the map. Finally, the 5th base is going to go down. That is going to be a kill on the Nexus. Shutting down the 5th, forcing FightingFrog back. You can see him trying to take the gold. But BattleB, he has map control. He's moving out across the map right through the center. Good EMP. Solid EMP on those high tempo. He catches the Colossi. Gets one. You can see here, BattleB is just picking FightingFrog apart. Getting a unit at a time. Whether it's High Templar, whether it's a base, whether it's Colossus. And FightingFrog is pulling back his regrouping. Like our Protoss has to calm down. Has to calm things down. Reinforcing his army. You can see him main-arting over towards the gold. And we only have 3 carriers. But it is going to be enough to force back the Terran. We pull back to the planetary. We can't commit. Ambitious blink there. We bleed out a lot of Stalkers. Yeah, FightingFrog overextending. Behind this is building up more carriers. Meanwhile, we're making 4 Vikings at a time. Plus 3 ship weapons is on the way for the Terran. And that is 3 more starports for mass Viking. That's what we need, at least for now. I'm worried for a ground, like, kind of transition here for FightingFrog. It's still possible. Still has a ground army. EMP does connect. I think we don't have a store. Maybe one is available? There we go. More High Templar on the way. That's a lot of High Templar. There we go. Storm is thrown down to zone away the army. Does connect with the Vikings. But BattleB, he does commit. The Vikings are going ham in the sky. And they take down the carriers one after the other. Yeah, there's 2 carriers left. We're down to 1. And soon to be 0. But the ground army, it's not about the sky, just it's about the ground now instead. Zealots are coming in. We give up on the sky. We go for the Zealots. We clean up the ghosts. Whew, not a bad fight there for FightingFrog. It was costly, though. It was an expensive trade. It was expensive. He still has a force that he can work with. Vikings are coming in to reinforce. Behind this, what's worrisome is that FightingFrog is still banking carriers. Despite the fact that his opponent is still very much so making Vikings. I would have appreciated a full-on like ground switch here, but yeah, we're still making carriers back at home 5 at a time. I'm not convinced, but we'll see if it can work out. I mean, at least he reset the ghost count, right? So the ghosts had to be rebuilt for the EMPs, Vikings as well. It was a bit of a reset for the Terran. But look at all those Vikings already. Remember, he's got like 5 starports with reactors. Like, remaxing on Vikings is not going to be difficult for BattleB. Here we go. Good. Oh my god, the EMPs! We blanket the army. We catch every single High Templar. No storms. Not a single storm, forcing out the Archons instead. Again, this entire game, BattleB has been so on point with those EMPs, but the Vikings overextend. The Vikings are falling. FightingFrog, is he breaking through? Can he pull it off? Oh, Archons are going down. Vikings are coming in to reinforce. FightingFrog, he does overextend for a moment. But he turns back around, and he should be able to clean up every single Viking here. Not without losing another carrier. Does bleed another carrier. Now, what's a little bit scary here is that he lost all of his Archons. In this last fight, he lost every single Archon. Most of his High Templar. Even though the carrier count is okay for FightingFrog, he's lost so much of his supportive army. Like, carriers on their own, they aren't ideal. They need something to support them, whether it's Archon, Storm, Colossus, Disruptor, Stalkers, anything. We are rebuilding here with the Gateway army because we can quite quickly. Going for some fast warp-ins. FightingFrog just trying to amass an army, but BattleB is maxed out. And FightingFrog, he's still getting there. He's still getting there, trying to take another base. Remember, his 5th was killed earlier. The gold has been sustaining him. Even though we have a low probe count for FightingFrog, the gold base does make up for it, but the gold will eventually mine out. We do need another expansion. So he does reclaim top left. Ooh, Prism goes down. There were High Templar in there. Big loss. High Templar do fall. Massive pig off from BattleB. Gets a couple of carriers. Yeah, good kiting, and it looks like we're overwhelming the army here. Again, yes, there is a gateway army, but where's the splash damage? That's FightingFrog. He runs out of steam. He runs out of forces. GG gets called. Whew, it was a battle of attrition, but BattleB takes game number 1. Oh my god. GG, well played. We had some strong moments from both players, and we even had some good fights from FightingFrog, is what I will say. But, alas, he did run out of steam, and he was bleeding out a lot of high-tech units. The EMPs were insane from BattleB. Every single fight, every single engagement, he would reset the High Templar count, he would reset the Archon count, expensive losses there. And you saw that the quality of the army from FightingFrog was getting worse and worse over time. When he once had Colossus and Storm and Archons, he was replacing it with just Chargelts and Stalkers. That's all he could make at the time in a moment of desperation. And he was overwhelmed in the end. GG. GG, well played. With that, it is going to be FightingFrog's map of choice, and he has chosen Dynasty. Here we go. Ooh. Yeah, loading on in and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Dynasty, we have BattleB for Berserker. And in the top left, we have FightingFrog for Twisted Fairy. Here we go. As a reminder, this is a best of 2, and Berserker, they have a solid lead so far. They're up 3-0. It's a best of 7. First to 4 do win. It is first to 4, so we're up against the wall. The pressure is on FightingFrog. Now, as a reminder, what we did mention is that Twisted Fairy did opt to field their B team here tonight. They did not field Nice, they did not field Stats either. They're giving some of their other players on their team the opportunity to really showcase their skill, which I do appreciate. As a reminder, both Twisted Fairy and Berserker are already a part of Code S. They already qualified. This is merely for some additional prize money. And what I will say in that last game is that FightingFrog wasn't playing poorly. He wasn't playing poorly at all. I do think it was very smart of him to be able to, or again, he did play well to be able to get his 4th and 5th base up and running, to be able to get and transition into Sky Toss. He's able to be quite assertive with his initial ground army as well. What I will say though, maybe his biggest issue there was his lapse of foresight when it comes to dealing with EMPs. We saw some brutal EMPs in that previous game as, oh my god, we're going for the gold on the other side. We can talk about the engagements and the EMPs next time, because we're rushing into the gold base here on Dynasty on the other side. If you're curious why you would want to do this, because if you take the gold on the other side, on the more exposed side, that does give you access to a rich Vestian Gas Geyser. There's a rich Gas Geyser there. It does give you quite a boost, especially a Protoss player. Gas is that much more important early on to Protoss, that much more impactful compared to some of the other races. So this is a very risky maneuver here from FightingFrog. We'll see if he can get away with it. We'll see if he can get away with it here. As BattleB is going for his own gold. Was a double gas opener. So Rax into factory into expand. He checks the gold, doesn't see it. Uh-oh. BattleB, he's in the dark. He does not see the expansion. Going for the sentry. He can't win this fight, by the way. Yeah, he is forced back. The sentry does prove to be too much for the Reaper. That's the power of the Sentry. He does rotate around. He does confirm the lack of natural base. And now he's headed for the gold once again. And he will confirm the natural. Here we go. We did just recall over. And now the pressure is on BattleB to punish this. The pressure is on. At the same time, we're going for, I believe, a proxy Twilight Council? No, sorry, that was a proxy Robo. Twilight Council's back at home. Robo has been proxied across the map. FightingFrog. Are we planning for an all-in? Are we planning for a charge-based all-in? I mean, the reason why I say charge is because we're mining through the minerals and we have not started the gas geyser. There it is. Charge is on the way. No, my apologies. We canceled charge. We start up blink instead. So FightingFrog, a little bit of 2 mines. Is of 2 mines there, going for a gateway explosion. It's going to be 4 gates on the way. 6 gates on the way, my apologies. 1 gate's already done. And this is a 2-base all-in. This is a 2-base all-in out of FightingFrog. It's all or nothing for him. Sorry, I'm just coughing my lungs out. But BattleB is going for his own push. Going for his own push before the gateway's finished, by the way. The gateways are still not done. We need a little bit more time. And the tank has arrived. We dive. The Archosis Pylon, no! The Archosis Pylon is there. It powers everything right now. We cannot afford to lose it. The army comes in from behind. Stalker goes down. We go for the tank. We try to focus it down. It looks like the tank will fall. FightingFrog, he holds. Whew, he does hold on. I can imagine if the tank was within range of the pylon, it could have been a different game. Meanwhile, Liberator wreaking havoc here at the gold, denying any kind of mining, keeping FightingFrog contained to a 1-base economy. As the drop comes back in, I'm hoping that he's aware that, yeah, FightingFrog, he's just lacking gas. Going for a slow little warp in. So, because they do catch that lib. As the drop heads towards the gold as well. Oh my god, there's no dead space! There's no dead space. Massive catch. A full medevac goes down. And very nice pick off there by FightingFrog. And that is the power of the new maps. The fact that these are these little quirks that you may not be familiar with. And BattleB just found out the hard way that there is no safe spot, no safe place there in between the gold. And with that, the medevac does fall. Again, the maps are still new. The patch is still new. We're still figuring out little things like this out. As here comes the Priz. Remember, it's 6 gateways behind this. Blink is done. Charge is on the way. Is a 2-base all-in. And BattleB, he's pretty heavily fortified. At least he's trying to be. BattleB going for a 3rd CC. Bold move. Now is not the time for a 3rd. As FightingFrog is reinforcing with more zealots. This is why I feel like maybe it was meant to be charged initially. Regardless, we are getting ready to push in. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Feral in the chats. Oh my god, thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session, I'm assuming, or maybe even viewing WTL as we snipe the Prism. Prism is going to get sniped. We're diving on top of the tank, though. The tank is exposed. And the tank will fall. But there's a bunker. There's Widow Mines as well. They're forcing back the army, forcing back FightingFrog. And BattleB, he does hold on to his bases, does hold on to his 2-base setup here. No quality is quality. No, we appreciate the raid, Pappy. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thank you so much, Pappy. Thank you so much. Hope you had a great time. Hope you had a great stream. Ooh. As the FightingFrog does rotate around, denying mining time here at the natural, at least trying to. But BattleB is holding, and FightingFrog now expands. Now he takes the 3rd base. Begrudgingly so. Don't think it was ever initially in the cards. But you can see how powerful the defensive setup is here on these 2 bases. FightingFrog, he cannot push in. And now BattleB, that 3rd base will pay for itself. And he has a massive lead. 50 workers to 39. Has a supply lead as well. BattleB is looking solid and he's coming in for a mine drop. He's going for the goal. Do we react in time? We do. Whew, we do pull away. I'm loving the unburrowing here from BattleB. Does delay even more mining time. Mine shots are going off. We have 2 mines left. You can see FightingFrog trying to hunt down that medevac. Good dodge here on that mine shot. The medevac will bob and weave, will get out of there. Oh. So once again, the mine is avoided. So again, good control with his Blink Stalkers. Very nicely done. The problem here is the main army. The problem here is this main force from BattleB. Once we push, I'm not so sure we can stop it. I'm not so sure. WTL stream? I see. Yeah, we're a little bit behind when it comes to our WTL coverage, just because we were hosting Sparkling Tuna Cup. We were hosting our weekly tournament, so it did delay our WTL coverage. So we're catching up, trying to catch up with WTL. We're like behind like 25 or 30 minutes. I think like 30 minutes or something. We are catching up though. As here we go, BattleB, he does rock up across the map and does set up his mines. Yeah, big mine shots going off here on the Zealots. And they just melt. We do pull back, we do have a shield battery, we do have an overcharge. We can hold. The kiting is good, but it looks like FightingFrog does force back the army. He will hold for now. Behind this, BattleB getting a 4th. 4th CC's on the way. Knocking down these rocks, waiting for reinforcements. BattleB did trade well, but alas, did not have enough to overwhelm. Yeah, no spoilers in the chat. No spoilers in the chat. Nunge, papi, nunge. As FightingFrog is going for Storm behind this. Working towards a splash damage. Oh, but he's out of position. No shield battery, no overcharge, no army. We go for the kill. We go for a recall. A bold recall, the army lying in wait. We step on forward. GG gets called as we clean up the army, and BattleB will take the 2-0 win here, securing the victory for Berserker eSports. GG. GG, well played. That was a crazy build, by the way, from FightingFrog to go for the gold on the other side. To lead into a 2-base all-in as well. A very bold move, a very crazy moves there out of FightingFrog. I do appreciate the ingenuity behind the build, but alas, BattleB was a little bit too solid, and BattleB just secured here for Berserker. GG, well played. Now, we will still play out the final best of 2. We will still play out DIMAGA versus Classic. The ZVP is still going to be upon us. Of course, Berserker have already won the series, but this is going to be a way for Classic to bounce back for his team. Again, Classic, he is the ace player of Twisted Fairy. He's one of the best Protoss in the world and in Korea. So, yeah, he has like a good opportunity here to put some points on the board and to redeem himself and redeem his team in some way. Meanwhile, best of luck to DIMAGA. We have seen DIMAGA take it to some of these big names in the past, and I said before, I thought that DIMAGA may have retired. Like, I haven't seen DIMAGA in a couple of months. I'm happy to see him. I'm happy to see DIMAGA once again. And here we go, we're diving into game number 1, and spawning in the bottom left hand corner we have DIMAGA for Berserker eSports, and in the top right we have Classic for Twisted Fairy. Here we go. Grand Finals, yes. Berserker eSports, they have secured their spot in the Grand Finals of Code A. They have made it that far at least, but the series is still not over. We still have our final best of 2 of this matchup. Here we go. Now, again, I haven't casted DIMAGA in a couple of months. I miss him dearly. You know, he was a very active player, especially last year. Very active in online tournaments, very active in WTL. Big fan of Papa DIMAGA. And I'm excited to see him again. Now, the way that DIMAGA would often play out his ZVP is every game, it's the same thing. Every game, he would drone up to 3-base saturation, and he would just max out and just all in on 3 bases with Lingbane Roach Ravager. And I remember last season WTL, he would give some of the top tier Protoss players a hard time. You could make an argument that DIMAGA had like the best 3-base all-ins in the world. Like the execution, like the practice that would go into it. the just iterations that he would have as well, it was impressive. And yeah, he would catch like some of these big Koreans. I'm talking about Hero, I'm talking about Classic as well. He would often at times catch them with their pants down. The problem is that, again, DIMAGA would be a little bit samey with his playstyle, but like even if you saw it coming, he would still catch you off guard. It was impressive. It was impressive. He will never retire. I hope so, I hope so. Stay with us, Papa. Stay with us. Papa DIMAGA. Oh. For now, though, we are going to be settling on in. It is going to be a gate expanded to Cybercore from Classic. Standard opener out of our Protoss player. Is going to be a standard opener. Meanwhile, DIMAGA likewise going for a hatch gas pull. Nothing too crazy so far. Nothing is out of the norm. Oh, I spoke too soon because we have our takeoff choice. It is not going to be a Stargate. It's not going to be a Twilight Council. It is a Robo opener from Classic. Oh my. Classic looking to spice things up here. Now with a Robo-based opener, this could be a couple of different things. This could be for 2 more gateways and a Warp Prism to be aggressive early on with gateway units. Could lead into a 2-base all-in with Immortals and Sentries, very Soul Train-esque. This could be for a Disruptor drop, which would be more sane. A much more standard build here would be a Bay with a Warp Prism to get into Disruptors and Warp Prism speed. I'm curious. I'm curious if this is a Disruptor drop or something a little bit more spicy. Keep our eyes on Classic as Robo is now finishing. Prism should be on the way. Yep, there's a Warp Prism. We have the Pylon position and... Sorry, we have the Probe in position and we're throwing down another gateway. Okay. And that's going to be a 3rd gateway, so it's going to be 3 gateways alongside this Robo. This should be for some initial vanilla gateway harass. Usually Adepts, but also could be Blink Stalkers. Oh, we throw down a 4th gateway. Okay, I was not expecting that. We're doubling down, getting up to 4 gateways. This, it's 2-base all-in. Never mind. We're going for a 2-base all-in. It's going to be 7 gates in total. Can we go up to 8? Oh my god. And it's going to be a Soul Train. Yep. Sentries, Immortals, anything and everything. Before that does occur, Lings, they do arrive. They do apply pressure at the natural base. The Adept is going to be going down, but we do wall off just in time. The wall off does complete. The gateways are not done. Warp Gate's still not done either. DIMAGA, can he break through? The gateway's under fire. Classic desperately trying to re-wall. And he has the 1 Stalker to defend. Warp Gate does finish, but the gateway goes down. We don't have a warp in. We do not have a warp in. We don't have any more units, but the Immortal does arrive just in time. And at least Classic, or at least DIMAGA, forced all this chaos. Forced this inefficient wall, additional gateways. The scary thing, though, is that Classic is still 2-base all in, and he doesn't lose any probes. No probes have gone down. The Immortal is revealed. Now DIMAGA knows. And we need roaches. We need lings, roaches, banelings, anything and everything here back at home. We should be seeing sentries alongside this, but no, we're going for a slow lot all in. Oh my god. Very old school. Like, this slow lot all in was very popular. When was it? Like, 2020? I think Haas started this build. I remember it was either 2020 or 2021. But I remember Haas whipping out the slow lot all in this matchup, and it was quite prevalent. This was back in, was it Beckett Industries? No, not Beckett Industries. Oh my god. The map pool with Cosmic Sapphire. That's it. The map pool with Cosmic Sapphire. That's the map pool where this was quite prevalent in, and here we go. We're just warping in wave after wave of who needs charged, because the slow lots, they have arrived. And they're just mowing their way through. Sure, they may not be fast, but they'll get where they're going. They will get there in the end. They're collapsing here on top of the Queens, on top of the Roaches. No Banelings to defend, by the way. No Sag defense either. And it looks like Classic is snowballing out of control. The slow lots, they're too quick, Papi. They're too quick. They mow their way through the defensive line, and there's nothing left. As Classic is snowballing out of control, and there's just nothing to stop him. GG gets called, and Classic will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Classic does take a very fast game 1 there. With the 2-base all-in, does come out on top, and does put a point on the board for himself and for his team. GG, well played. Again, this is a Haas build. It was quite popular, again, during the COVID era of StarCraft back in 2020, 2021. That's when it first did hit the field. And I remember distinctly casting a lot of games like this on Cosmic Sapphire. I was trying to remember the name of the map. Those are dark times. Those are some very dark times. That was back when Protoss realized that you don't need charge, Pop. You don't need it. If you're curious about how to defend against something like that, then you are heavily reliant on static defense. Banelings as well can be quite key because of how reliant you are with all these zealots. But you do need to have quite a strong reaction to it, and you need to get eyes and recognize it quite early on as well. Ooh. I remember casting that during Aids and Champs. Oh, sorry, during packs. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ghost River, we have DIMAGA. In the top right, we have Classic. But I remember casting that during PAX Australia. I think that was in 2021. Pez versus Chappie. It's a little bit of a story. If you're unfamiliar with the Australian scene, Pez is a Protoss player, Chappie is a Zerg. And before PAX is the Penny Arcade Expo, there was a StarCraft 2 tournament that was happening there. I casted the events, a little bit of the event with Pig. And before Playday, we all went to Korean Fried Chicken. We got Korean Fried Chicken. And there was so much smack that Chappie was talking. he was so confident. He was talking so much smack to Pez because the groups were revealed and it was already shown that Chappie was going to play against Pez. And I think we had decided that we were going to cast it on stage first. Just because of all the smack talk. And Chappie was so overcome. He's like, mate, you're gonna get clowned on. I'm so prepared. I'm so ready for anything you have. You don't even get it. You don't even understand. I see everything. I know what you're doing. I know how scared you are right now. Like he was drunk a little bit, but it was great. The banter was great. He was trash talking so much to Pez. And that's the build that Pez did straight up on Cosmic Sapphire. It was a immortal slow lot all in, and he beat Chappie in like 15 minutes. Like it was like the best of it was over, and Chappie was just his soul was crushed that morning. It was brutal. Oh no, it was a sad time, but it was great as well. Este Chappie, shaking my head. Good times, good times. Meanwhile, we're getting into our game, and DIMAGA, he's going for a 12 pool. It's a 12 pool Link Flood. Sorry, did I say 12 pool? 13-12. 13-12 here at DIMAGA. Link speed is on the way. He's flooding links across the map here on Ghost River. It makes sense. Ghost River has the shortest rushes map in the map pool. It's 31 seconds to get across the map. Not too long at all. So Link Flood, it's all we have. It's all we do have here. DIMAGA, he's on 12 drones, not making any more than that. Classic, he did scout with his probe. He knows what's going on. He fully walls off with 2 gateways. He has 3 pylons as well, just in case. And as long as you're able to control well, as long as you don't get surrounded, Classic will hold. He just has to avoid the surrounds. Has to be very careful. Link speed kicks in when he does catch the Zealots. Very nice catch here. Both Zealots will go down, but the Adepts, they're going ham. The Adepts, they have arrived, and they even save a Zealot as well. Oh boy, a solid cleanup there from Classic. He shuts down the Lings, and DIMAGA, he's in some trouble. DIMAGA, he's in a lot of trouble right now. He's flooding links across the map. He's still completely all in. Look at the drone count. He still has 12 workers, by the way. Ay, ay, ay. And, yeah, the longer this goes on, the better it is for Classic. Like, Classic, he's got the better mining. He's got the natural on the way. He has sentries in production. Shield battery as well, just to be safe. DIMAGA, his only hope here is that maybe if Classic overextends, if Classic does shade across the map and if he gets surrounded, if we can kill these Adepts, then maybe we can pull something off. But unless Classic makes a mistake, then Classic, he should be safe and secure, and he should run away with this. Lings, they do go for the gateway, but we have to be careful. There's a force field available. We could lock the Lings in, and if that's the case, then DIMAGA will lose everything. We have a robot follow-up that's going to be for the Warp Prism to get across the map. Warp Gate is done. Gateways are getting up and running. And you can see how confident Classic is. Just chasing this back. Lings, they try to collapse here, but we have force fields. Very good positioning here. Very good control. Looks like 2 sentries go down. But this is still a better trade for Classic. Cleaned up so many Lings. And bearing in mind, DIMAGA is still all in. He is still making 14 Lings behind this. Oh boy. Still has 14 Lings on the horizon here, as we are rallying everything across the map. So do you see DIMAGA trying to just, yeah, I mean, he's still committed. There's no droning from here. Like, there's no shot. You can't drone from this position. DIMAGA knows that. He knows that Classic's too good for that as well. As in, he'll just kill you if you try to macro from an all-in. And again, you can see that DIMAGA is trying to bait out the army, hoping to lure out his opponent. He's like, oh yeah, I'm droning. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But here comes a hallucination. Yeah, big scat for Classic. He's moving out. His goal here is to get eyes on the drone counts, to get eyes on the saturation. Is there a third base? Is there saturation? Is there a lair? Is there tech? He will see that there's nothing. Yeah, he does confirm 2 drones at the natural. That's all that DIMAGA has. No additional gases, no lair, no gas mining. He confirms it's still just a pure link flood. He does confirm. We have a gateway explosion behind this. Classic going for his own 2-base all-in. May as well. He's building up his immortals. He's got his sentries. It's going to be a soul train. Let's go. Immortal sentry all-in with vanilla gateway units. And it's only a matter of time. Now DIMAGA drones. Oof, that's it's a rough time to drone. It's a rough decision to make. Very rough decision. We cache the Lings as well. And here we go. We collapse on the army. Lings, they can trade well, but the force fields are too good. We do surround ourselves. Lings, they do get on top of some of these sentries, but the Prism has arrived. Good juggling. We clean everything up. GG gets called, and Classic will take down DIMAGA 2-0. Fighting back for his team and for himself, for Twisted Fairy. GG. GG, well played. The series will conclude here with a 4-2 in favor of Berserker eSports. Berserker eSports, congratulations, they make it through into the grand finals of Code A. Twisted Fairy get knocked down to the lower bracket. To the lower bracket finals. And they will be waiting for the winner of our next series. Oh boy. We're going to be waiting here for the winner of the next series. That is going to be Team Hyperberg versus Offside.